Upon opening the MATLAB program, you will be met with the standard MATLAB graphical user interface. This graphical user interface looks like this, where we have a number of panels which are used for various purposes. The first, and maybe the most important panel in the initial stage, is the command window, indicated by this command prompt here, which shows that we can start entering commands in here, and after pressing enter, they are executed immediately by the MATLAB engine. So for instance, if we do a simple arithmetic operation, 2 plus 3, and enter this command into MATLAB, we see that MATLAB answers with a variable that it assigns to the variable ounce or answer, and it assigns the numerical value 5 to this answer. We can also define other variables, other named variables. Let's say we want to name a variable a, which we set to 4, a variable b, which we will set to 10, for instance, and we can then use these variables for subsequent arithmetic operations. For instance, we can multiply a with b, and the outcome will be 40, which is 4 times 10, obviously. So that is the command window, where we can simply enter single commands that are then immediately executed by MATLAB. On the right hand side, we see the workspace. Now the workspace holds all the variables that are currently defined in the current MATLAB session. So we see that we have in this case 3 variables. We have a and b, which we defined over here as 4 and 10. And the default answer variable is assigned the value of 40 because that was the last non-named operation that we did. So we did a multiplied with b, and the answer of 40 was stored in the variable ounce. So that's the workspace, which holds all the currently active variables in the current session. On the left hand side, we see the current folder. Now the path of the current folder is shown here on the top. So you see that I am in the MATLAB directory of my documents directory of my user directory in the Windows OS system. And we see that in this directory I have made this MATLAB file, MATLAB script, testscript.m. And if we double click it, a new panel will open, and that is the editor. So this is the editor panel, and this can be used to edit mainly MATLAB scripts and functions that you write yourself. These scripts are basically a collection of different MATLAB instructions that will be executed whenever you press the run button. So let's try this, for instance. Let's assign some new variables. So let's call the variable c with a numerical value of 2, a variable d with a numerical value of 10, or let's say 15, we already used 10 before, and a variable c which we assign to be the sum of c and d. Now we see that at this point these commands have not been executed, these variables are not defined in the workspace as of yet, but when I save this file, so save, and subsequently run the file, run test script, we see that MATLAB has executed all these commands sequentially. So we see that C has been defined, D has been defined, and E has been defined. Moreover, we see that in the command window, quite some output has been generated. So we see that we ran the script test script, and the output to the command window is the fact that C has been defined, D has been defined, and E has been defined using this operation with these numerical values. Now scripts can be used to link together more and more intricate MATLAB instructions to get more and more complicated numerical programs. But when you start adding more and more instructions together, your output will become quite cluttered. So therefore, a simple trick to reduce the verbosity of MATLAB is by adding semicolons to the end of your statements. So if you add semicolons, and let's run this again, we see that no additional output has been generated here at the command window. However, we see that in the variables, we still have these old variables which were defined even before we ran our script. So it is good practice to actually, whenever you write a script, clear these variables, clear all variables before executing your script. And you can also clear or clean the output of the command window with the CLC command. So if I run this now, we see that we have a nice and clear and clean command window output, and we only have the variables that were defined in our script.